So welcome back, everyone. You know, we have such great information on this show. And what I love about my next guest is what we get to talk about fixing people's cracks. And a lot of people have nasty cracks out there. I have with me Alexandra Seals. She is the owner of King's World of Marble. Welcome back to the show. You've been on several times.
Hello,
And what I love, first of all, one of the most real persons I've ever met in my entire life, really, besides myself. But tell everybody first a little bit about yourself, what you do. You've been in the Valley for years, but mostly let's talk a little bit about you and what you do first.
All right, King's World of Marble, been in Phoenix since 1995, and we used to own a full fabrication shop. And then later through the years, when everybody became a fabricator, we decided to change, and we now do maintenance, repair, restoration, and the difference, what we have is education, is experience, and we are European trained.
Right. Now I'm going to talk, first of all, that she's been in the business since 1995 here with this in Phoenix right here. And when you work with them, there's a big difference when you've been trained, European trained. And how I know this is because, and we get to do this off the cuff because that's how we do things, right, is that I remember when I used to sell jeans in a store, it was retail, right, and the guy who was the owner told us, you know, you could sell a jean, that's no problem, but if you want to make them get a better jean, the jeans that were European made, you could see the difference. Right. And there's a big difference when you're having somebody work on your cracks, on your marble, on your granite, on your stones. Having somebody who is European trained is way different than calling Joe Marble Guy.
Right. Well, like for instance, my husband, he's from Ireland. He trained in Ireland, and he started as a young boy, basically. He trained in London, he trained in Australia, and then he came here to the United States. My son had to do an apprenticeship of 7 years before he was even able to call himself a fabricator. And so it's not just, learning a couple things here and there. We learn stone from A to Z. And literally, every stone is different. So it's not one thing fits and fits all. So you need to learn, you need to figure it out, and so that's what we did.
You need to have a professional come in, right, and so many people have stones. They're obviously in their kitchen is the worst place by the sinks, and having them repaired, having them fixed by you, it's a world of difference. It can make your kitchen look like $1 million again.
Well, we can make it look brand new again. And yes, there's a lot of issue by the sink section because a lot of people lack the maintenance part of it. And so we have a maintenance program, and but a lot of issues are at the sink section because the silicone starts to break down, so water goes underneath that area, and you splash, you clean your dishes and everything else, and it goes under your granite, it goes into your sub area, and then a lot of times they have rods that go in the front and the back of the sink. Well, when the moisture hits it, it starts to rust out, and that has a tendency then to crack your granite because it expands. And so, yeah, a lot of issues are there. Chips are there, when you're doing your dishes, you're bang a pot or something,
right, and
so, yeah, most problem children are at the sink area. And the other thing is your islands. If you have a little bit of an overhang, if it's not properly installed, somebody sits on it, somebody stands on it. I have cleaners standing on there and fixing, cleaning up the light fixtures.
Not a good idea. Yeah, you think it's strong.
No, well, yeah.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. So, and that's where a lot of issues come from, yes.
You're 5-star rated everywhere. And, you're rated with the Better Business Bureau. You are statewide. You're licensed, bonded, and insured. She's been doing this here since 1995. Family-owned business here. The number to call, 602-451-2689. The website is kingsworldofmarble.org. You can also check them out on Facebook, which is King's World of Marble Maintenance. Maintenance. It's all talking about the maintenance. Also, people don't even know how to clean these things. They are using the wrong product, even natural products, right? And they're ruining it just by that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, people use Windex or lemon juice or vinegar juice, or God knows what they put in. Anytime you use acidics, some stones can handle it. You know, I have, for instance, personally, I have a granite. I can do anything with it, but majority of them, they're different. So any type of acidics will take your shine off, so it edges it, and so you can ruin it. The other thing on the flooring, same thing. Cleaners, a lot of cleaners don't even know how to use it. So sometimes you can call us up, we will educate. You can go on our webpage, and it shows you too what to do and what not to do. So.
Also, you want to talk to the realtors out there. We did that earlier today because it's a great gift. Tell them what you think is, you know, as you work with the realtors, what you can offer to help them with their closing.
Right, and I personally was a realtor for 17 years. So, for instance, if you have a listing and your owner goes, okay, the house always gets cleaned up or whatever, but a couple things you forget about it. You forget about sprucing up the kitchen, your countertops, and your flooring. Or even to get an inspection. We also do inspection. So we do a preview on it, we inspect it, and then we'll let you know, hey, this needs to be cleared, this needs to be repaired. We do a maintenance for you. If it's too costly, you can use it as a closing gadget, basically. In other words, you know, like you give a carpet allowance or you give a paint allowance, you can give a granite or a natural stone.
And I bet you they'd love you for it.
Yes.
Again, that's kingsworldofmarble.org. You can also check them out at Facebook, which is King's World of Marble Maintenance. You can call them. Their phone number is 602-451-2689. They do work statewide. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau, licensed, bonded, and insured. 5-star rated everywhere. One of the things that you also have mentioned with people is that let's say somebody's already had the job done. You know, you can actually come in there and make sure the job is done correctly. There's a big thing in that, you know, because you'd be upset, but you'd rather know than not.
Right. Well, that's a lot of times when you have a new installation. And we also offer an inspection. And I work with other fabricators. I work with builders, you name it, you know, pretty much throughout the valley. And so we come in, we'll do a full inspection, and then before you write that last little check there, or a big check, you then know either it's done correctly, or we will point out things what needs to be done prior to, or if it's not done right. And some jobs are extremely well done, and we have some really fabulous fabricators in this town, and then we have some not so fabulous fabricators where you're going, oh boy.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it all.
Oh yeah.
You work with homeowners only?
No. I work with homeowners. I work with fabricators. I work with the suppliers. I work with builders. You name it, literally.
Wherever there's granite.
Wherever there's granite or anything to do with it.
And you can literally walk in and basically see what's wrong.
Oh yeah,
You've been doing this so long.
I have such a bad habit too, because even with friends or whatever, they're going, oh, okay, there she goes again. Because I walk and I touch the edges and I go underneath and feel different things. And when you run your hand underneath, there's a lot of times you feel a lot of things, but you shouldn't.
Now we're talking granite, but we're also talking stone. Any stone. Right? So the other thing that we were talking about, when somebody I gave you somebody's name that I know is interested in talking to you, said the first thing she says to me, well, I want quartzite now, right? Because that's the new thing. But there's real quartzite. There's not real quartzite. Let's talk about
you have quartz and
then quartzite.
The quartz is the man-made, and then you have quartzite. Quartzite is actually a fabulous stone. It's really a strong stone. It's a little bit even stronger than some granites, but both of them different characters. For instance, the quartz, what is the man-made, is great. You can't really scratch it. Don't stain it. But if you have an Instapot or a toaster or anything like this, and you have that on top of your countertop, it is not heat resistant or cold resistant. So you leave a bag of ice sitting there, your possibility is you can crack your top, or your Instapot can crack your top. And once it's cracked, well, we can fix it, but because it's quartz, it's a lot of times you will still see
You'll be pretty upset when you take that off your countertop and you see what it's done.
Yep.
And you know, we were sitting here the last time that you were on, and there was a client in here, and one of the things she said is, you know what, I never knew that. I better check that out or put something down the next time I'm going to make something.
Exactly.
Again, that phone number is 602-451-2689. Hang tight, we're going to be back in just a minute. We're going to keep on going in here because we
Okay.
are still live in the room. You see mostly when people, when you walk in, obviously the sink areas are got to be your biggest, the kitchen's got to be, but you know, and
Oh, bathrooms too.
bathrooms too, same thing, because
Especially
there's a
women
sink
with the
there.
makeups and the oils and all that.
So never everybody thinks that it's like almost impossible to ruin it, but there are so many things.
There's so many different, for instance, granites, and granite is one of the main one what's used in the kitchen areas. And there's some granites you pay a buku amount of money for it, but they're softer and they're stained, they're scratched. There's a lot of issues with that. And then there's like I have one with a cheaper granite, but I tell you one thing, I can put my hot top right on top of it and I have no issues.
So do you think, honestly, I know people spend a lot of money, okay? It's really sometimes less is better.
Well, it's like you have just such fabulous stones out there. And anytime you go like in the blues, like a blue azul or stuff like that, these are rarer stones and you pay for the rarity. So, you know.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
because
not everybody's going to have that same stone
exactly,
out there. So, yeah,
exactly.
You
But,
pay
you
for
know,
rarity.
And
That's
it
what
must be
is.
so beautiful, though, in the homes you just so, what you see is so different in everyone. You must really see, because
I
you really
see
look
that.
at the stone so differently than somebody else might.
Totally.
And floors. Let's talk a little bit about floors.
We do a lot of the flooring too, and yes, same thing there too. You know, you have to maintain, you have to go in, and you have to, like the same with your countertop, same with your flooring, you gotta seal it.
You gotta
Natural
seal it.
stone has to be sealed.
Right.
Last time I was tongue tight on that one, didn't I?
No, but you know what? It's so true. People, I don't know why they like to scrimp and scrape on that kind of a thing when it's so simple.
Well, and it is because, you know, you buy a brand new car, you know, you wax it, you do all kinds of stuff, you wash it and all that, you know, you go in for your maintenance on it, and you spend thousands on the stone, and you don't.
Right.
And it's so simple because if you do, we have a yearly maintenance program, okay, and it's a lot more cost effective than when I come in afterwards. You're going like, oh.
So somebody, just bought a home, or
Yes.
they've had their home for a long time, and their kids have ruined the floors. You know, can you help them with that the grout part of it too?
Oh yeah.
And then cleaning that, and
We
then making those.
just, matter of fact, we just did a job, and that house wasn't touched for 15 years. And for 15 years, that marble
Not
wasn't
touched.
touched. And we went back in, and
We're gonna talk about that.
yeah, we did it. I like the music.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking cracks. We're talking how to fix the cracks. There's also other kinds of things that you need to fix, which is your grout. And we were talking at the break, I was asking you a little bit about that and how people, you said it's all about maintenance, Carol. And so many people, they put all this money into their homes and this and that, and they want to have the best looking granite, but they don't take care of it.
Yep, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
They use wrong chemicals to clean, their cleaners use wrong chemicals, and they do not maintain. And a lot of times it's very simple. We come in, we give it a good clean, we seal it. That's the main part, sealing.
And yet, I know that everyone, I remember when I put stone in my, I think it was my kitchen, that they said, well, should we seal it? Why is that even a question?
Why is
This
it
what-
that way?
Yeah, why should that be? Shouldn't it just be the next step or the last step?
But you know that some fabricators really don't, that I'm actually come in after they're already installed it and go, you go ahead and seal it. When I fabricated, for me it was a given. That's part, you pay a lot of money, I'm going to seal that, at least I know you're good for 6 months to a year.
Right.
It depends what kind of stuff.
Someone you said had a house here that you were in
Yeah,
recently.
we were talking about the flooring. The floor was in for 15 years, marble. And basically the woman hated it, and she goes like, it's gonna cost me thousands and thousands and thousands to rip all that out and repair it. And so we came in, my husband went in, my son, and they go like, we'll give you a sample, and it came back like brand new. And so we did the flooring and just blown away with the results.
Well, she's been doing this here in the Valley since 1995. Her husband also, I've met him
Seamus,
too.
yes.
And when you talk about granite and stone, when you're from Ireland, you know what it is. And,
Yeah, I got two stoners.
Two stoners, and there's a lot of stoners out there, and there's a lot of stoners with cracks.
Yeah. It
And
used to be the joke. I go, what do you do? Well, I'm a stoner.
Right. We said that we're going to get T-shirts for you that says
That's right.
"We fix cracks,"
We fix cracks.
or "I'm a stoner."
We're the stoners fixing your cracks.
Exactly. Now, the gift certificates for real estate agents, it's a great closing to give to
Right.
your clients. Also, please note that they are 5-star rated everywhere. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. They do residential and commercial. They are also statewide, licensed, bonded, and insured. Their phone number, write it down, 602-451-2689. You can check them out on their website. They do free estimates. It's kingsworldofmarble.org, or you can also go to Facebook at Kings World of Marble Maintenance. A lot of people might be getting some money back, still getting their refunds back, right? Man, put the money into fixing these things, because if you don't, it just gets worse and worse and worse, and it could actually be a problem.
It does, and like I said, it's so simple just to do our yearly maintenance. And what we really do, we check through, make sure, and the areas are like your silicone around the sink sections, the grout or silicone by your backsplash. These are the main problem areas. And yes, I mean it's you pay $200 or $300 versus you're gonna pay $1,500 or $2,500 in that area because you lack the maintenance.
Right.
You didn't take care of it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you about one thing. A lot of people are putting in the new sinks. They're doing that. Everybody wants new sinks and
We
this
do
and that.
that.
Right now, can you please talk a little bit about that, because you can't just go to Home Depot and stick a sink in when you've got your granite's already there, and then of course it doesn't fit. But we'll just leave just a little bit. No, not a good idea.
Well, I just actually done it on mine too, and I had the double sink, and now we're all back into that one full sink, and I love it, by the way. And so we're doing a lot of exchanges, and no, I can go bigger with the sink, but I can't go smaller with the sink. So it's a little bit of an art on that, and we help you with that. Usually, one of us comes over, my husband usually, or my son comes over, checks out, give you some measurements, and we actually help you pick out a proper sink will fit in.
Right,
And then-
that's the big thing too. And there's so many people out there that those are do-it-yourselfers, right?
Oh gosh,
Oh.
yeah.
And you don't want that. You don't want that. There's a good reason for it. And you know what? Don't even try. I'm sorry. Anytime I know people that try and do it themselves, and guess what? They're end up costing them way more money,
Yeah.
and then you have to call anyway. Because right now everybody can go on to YouTube. Just go up there and just watch that video. And I can do that. Not always.
Oh, I watched that too. And I go,
Oh, they
God,
do
if
that
it-
wrong too?
Yeah.
Better watch that.
If I only would have been so easy and simple.
Yeah.
But not just that, we go after professionals. Some of them would think they have the experience, they got to go and do it, and you go like, ugh, that's not it.
Yeah.
By the way, we offer 2 1-year warranty. I never talk about that.
No, let's talk
We
about
always
that.
do. Yeah, we always, with every job, we offer a 1-year warranty. And yet, there's times like, again, 2 weeks ago we had a job and the person tried to tell us we have a 3-year warranty. I'm like, no, it's just a year warranty. But we fixed the crack, and it was a big crack. And so normally when you do that, it's not like it's going to break again, but it cracked again in that same vicinity, and then the crack moved.
Well,
And so we
betcha.
tried to figure out what it was, and just moving in a new dishwasher, lifting up that granite, and you already have a compromised area there, and we cracked, but it cracked worse. So
Well,
Yeah.
and here's the thing though. It's like an earthquake. Underneath there's lots of different areas
Veins and stuff,
veins
yeah.
of that.
Mhm.
And when you have a piece of granite that are already cracked,
Yeah.
like you said, that's already a sore, like it's a soft spot kind of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Well, normally it doesn't, because the epoxies and stuff we use, usually it's harder than it ever would be before. But what happened on this one, you know, you lift up and you put so much pressure on it, it cracked. But that's why I knew it wasn't our doing. It's cracked from that, and then it went a different way.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy.
So you, again, trying to do these things, but you do that as well. You'll help people with those sinks,
Yep.
right? And make sure that they pick out the right sink for the stone that's in your house, and also flooring. You help with that. Go ahead, tell everybody a little bit.
Well, it's like when you have a new sink, and like I said, you can go bigger with the sink, but you can go smaller with the sink. We tell you to make sure that you get a template with it, and so we can then cut, you know, things out. Like for instance, my sink was like an offset. One was bigger, one was smaller, and yet doing one big area, we tint it up so you don't have all the dust and all the dirt and everything in your house too. So that's another thing too. We clean, we super clean with everything, and yeah, we are there every step of the way.
They're European trained too, and that means that they know this inside and out before they even walk in your door. They know stone. They know what this is about. Then how long was it that your son? You said 7 years before.
7 years apprenticeship.
And how you teach people is, you know, you tell them, okay, you know, you think you could do it, go outside and make. What? Tell them that
Well,
story.
it's like when I owned the fabrication shop, I used to, people would come in, what are fabricators, and go, oh, I'm a fabricator, I'm looking for a job. And they always want to work for us because not just we European trained, but we also do the employees like in Europe. You have paid vacation and all that kind of stuff. So everybody wanted to work with us. And so I would say, okay, go outside, let the guys give you a piece of stone, put up a bullnose, show me a bullnose, and then come back and I have a look. And they're going like, by hand? I'm like, yeah, by hand. And 99.9% of them could not do it.
That's why you have the people in your family-owned business. They know what they're doing, and they make sure that you're getting the quality. There's nothing like European training, the quality that you can get from that.
Yep.
Right?
Definitely.
What would be for you one of the things that, you know, we never talked about warranty. Another thing that you offer too is that other things that you do when you come in. What's it look like? You know, you said that you put up a tent and all of that. How long are you usually in there? Because that's another thing. People want you in and out.
Well, it's like when you're doing the job the right way, you're not in and out. Okay, I'm in and out with the maintenance, so have your maintenance, then I'm in and out, right? But on the repairs, no. And if there's anything needs to be cut or grinded or any in that area, we do tent it up. And the tents is everything, the floor area is enclosed, so it's no dust in your
With the sinks, I want to go back to that for a second. I had a question in my mind, because you said some people get smaller sinks. Why would anyone?
Well, they try to get smaller sinks.
Why would they even buy that? Because, I mean, they buy it, they purchase it, and they don't realize that it's, or they actually bought it knowing it.
Well, I think they just don't realize it.
Yeah.
You know,
And then they think, what can they add to it? What do? You got to return it.
Yeah, you got to return it.
Yeah, and this way, you help people with that. So many people are wanting to do sinks now anyway.
Well, we get, that's the main thing. Everybody gets away from the two sink areas into one main big sink. And a lot of times it's like, even if you had an undermount sink before, we can do a top mount, because now the new top mounts are really shallow. So mine went from an undermount into a top mount.
That's what I'm telling you about my client. She was talking about that. That's what I wanted to know. And she has granite, so, and I know it's been there for a long time. So you're probably going to have some major work over there as well. So
do it.
And they've been helping people with their cracks for a very long time here in the Valley. It's 1995. They're 5-star rated everywhere. They do free estimates. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. They work statewide. You can check them out on their website, which is kingsworldofmarble.org. But go up onto Facebook, because that's where all of your pictures, a lot of pictures are there, with King's World of Marble Maintenance. Their phone number is 602-451-2689. And if you're a real estate agent, what a great gift certificate to give to them for a closing. Check them out. It's kingsworldofmarble.org.